avoid any form of open dumping or open burning
This call is now
of
being
our
recorded.
waste. We have to avoid open dumping or open burning of our waste, because as we can see, the impact on both soil, air, and water is quite great. It's quite great. And at the end of the day, it's destroying not just our immediate environment, but the earth as a whole. So, as a form of recap, before we conclude, let us take a look at those treatment methods once more. The first one under thermal treatment is incineration. Then we have pyrolysis and gasification. Then we have landfills. We have our sanitary landfill and our bioreactor landfill. Then we have our composting. We mentioned that there are different kinds. This is the simple kind where you just put it in the pit and allow it. Then you can also introduce vermins, which is maggots from flies, to further break down organic matter quickly. Then we talked about mechanical also, which is not in the slide. We talked about the material recovery facility and the machines they use in either in sorting of the waste or in grinding, size reduction, grinding, shredding, or pelletizing of waste. And we looked at some of the environmental impact of improper waste disposal, clogged drains, which leads to flooding, which leads to spread of diseases. When you have those waste there, it invites different kind of insects and rodents. And then you have spread of diseases when medical waste is not well disposed, spread of diseases. You have global warming and so much more. So with all that, it is my hope that we are well informed on how best to manage, treat, and dispose our wastes. Now, what can we do finally? Now, we know that humans create a lot of waste, and then the onus is on us to do what? To make sure that our environment stays healthy and sustainable. Now, these are some of the things we can do to help the environment. The first one, like we mentioned earlier, segregation of waste into plastic waste, organic waste, and inorganic waste is essential. Recycling materials whenever we can to reduce the quantity of trash going to the landfill. Now, I know we've learned about recycling earlier. There are different ways we can also be a part of it. From the waste management hierarchy we talked about, there are a lot of things we can reduce. There are a lot of things we can reuse in order to ensure that as little waste as possible ends up in our landfills. It's very important. Composting organic waste. Composting is easy and it's quite simple to do. Bagging inorganic waste for pickup by the right authorities to avoid littering and washing off into drains. So it's very important. Proper bagging or proper temporary storage of our waste. Proper awareness and educational campaigns should be conducted to make people aware of safe waste disposal systems. This is very important also. People need to know. Now, the picture below is just showing us the waste management movement, the waste management flow. Now, from collection, you have transportation. Now, if your waste is properly bagged, transportation should take it to recovery points. Recovery points where it undergoes what? Different kind of processing. This is this is organic waste, anaerobic digester, composting, even inorganic waste too. Composting, then anyone that cannot be processed goes to a sanitary. So these are some of the ways we can help make our environment better. So these are some of the ways we can help make our environment better. So thank you very much for listening. I would like to thank our partners also, and thank you very much. So if you have questions or you have something to contribute, the floor is open now.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. Now, there are some, how will I put it, some kind of waste we generate at household level. Because when you talk about the separation, for instance, battery, maybe you have this remote control, those battery, those small
Yes, sir.
battery, and so on. Then sometimes one way or the other, we generate like medical waste. Maybe somebody has injury, plaster with blood, then sometimes even syringe. So how do we manage such? Since okay, we are looking at, let's even start with two bin system. Where does those one go to? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, sir. That's a very, very brilliant question. Now, like we said, even in our two bin system, our waste should naturally be bagged. I think we mentioned it in the um in the previous slide. Our waste should be bagged, even in the two bin system. Now, you remember that we were advised to sort our waste into recyclable, organic, and inorganic. Now, the recyclable waste naturally would go to the recyclable bin. Now, the inorganic part of our waste should be bagged separately from the organic waste. Now, all this can go in the general waste, but the inorganic part of our general waste, not all general waste are organic. There are general wastes that are inorganic and are not recyclable. So the inorganic part of our general waste should go into the inorganic part of our general waste should go into a different trash bag and put in the general waste, at least for the two bin system. But as we evolve in terms of waste management, I'm sure we can begin to find more ways to even more robustly segregate our waste. But for a two bin system, even our waste should be in bags. So I think that is a solution that can work. So is that all right, sir?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, sir. Any other questions, please, or any inputs? Any questions or inputs?
Okay, let me make inputs on the pyrolysis
All
because
right, thank you, sir.
most people that do pyrolysis or people that invest in machine definitely is to make profit because one is a very expensive technology. So in most cases, it's either pyrolysis of tire. So once they do the
Mm-hmm.
pyrolysis of tire, there are so many products they get. They get the black oil, they get the black carbon black, even the metals from the tire. They get that.
Yes.
So that's why I say a lot of people. Then I've seen a station too. There's a company then that was supposed to come to Nigeria to do pyrolysis. Why their targets in most cases are for styrofoam, for nylon, to get diesel, petrol, and so on. So for those that want to try pyrolysis, it's a very expensive one, but they always look at the end products. That's where they can always recover their money from. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. You are quite right. Uh, for pyrolysis of tire, every part of the tire eventually yields a form of return, from the oil to the carbon black to the iron, which can be sold off also. You are quite right, sir. But pyrolysis, like you rightly mentioned, is not cheap. It's not a cheap business to venture into, but it's a rewarding one. in the sense that as long as you have raw materials, as long as you have raw materials for your pyrolysis equipment, then you'd definitely be assured of a return. You'll definitely be assured of a return in terms of profit and everything. And apart from that, it's also helping out the environment. But like you mentioned, the aim of every business venture is profit. So the pyrolysis is very expensive, but at the same time, it's also very profitable in the long run. So thank you very much for that. So any other question, any other input?
Okay, the last input is this. I think is on the part of the government and the people
Okay.
involved in collection, because I've seen the situation whereby, most especially in schools, they've taken their time to separate the waste. But once the PSP truck come, they dump everything together into the same truck. And the student will be wondering, well, we've done the separation. Why are these people putting everything together? So, but I think it has to do with proper planning that, oh, as a PSP, you are only entitled to general waste. Why those who are into recycling will always come to pick the plastic? But in most cases, you just see the PSP just come. They don't even want to know if you separated or not. Everything just going to their truck.
Oh, okay. Um, for the PSPs and the separated waste, for one, I know that the recycling unit usually handles cases of recyclable waste. I know that recycling unit handles cases of recyclable waste where they send their own people to make pickups. But I don't know if maybe some schools give all the waste to PSPs, because PSPs are supposed to only receive general waste. In the event where the waste has been separated, they are supposed to reach out to the recycling unit, who would then send uh, someone to offtake it. Now, sometimes they may send a PSP, but in the occasion where they send a PSP, the PSP is there to pick up that recyclable waste with specific instructions. So the PSP is there to pick up the recyclable waste with specific instructions of where the drop-off is going to happen. So I don't know, it might not apply to all the schools. I might not be sure, but I know for a fact that usually when schools have um, recyclable waste, especially in large quantities, they reach out to the recycling unit, and they organize how they can pick it up and take it to relevant processing facilities. So I think I know a bit about that. So that's that about. But I know it might not cut across to everyone. It might not cut across to everyone, because, as you know, there are a lot of schools in Lagos alone. There are a lot of schools in Lagos alone, and sometimes they may not even reach out to the recycling unit. They might just be like, the PSP is here anyway, let them just pack everything. And the PSPs that you're even talking about, when they want to pack that waste, they might seem as if they are taking everything together, but they are separating it, because it's of economic benefit to them too when they separate it. So I know for a fact that even when they come to the streets and households to pick up waste, even if you commingle your waste, they will still take time. They will still take time to um, segregate or separate the waste. They will sort it and put the recyclable waste in a different bag. They do that for regular waste. So I'm sure that even while they are picking up that waste, while it may seem as if they are bringing everything together, they are also separating on their own part, because it's of monetary benefit to them. But you are right. We still need to we need to make the recyclable collection a bit more robust and to be able to cover more. I think that's that. So, is there any other question or any other input? Questions or inputs? Okay. So if there is none, I would like to thank everyone for being a part of today's class. We talked about waste disposal and waste treatment methods. We looked at different ways to treat waste, from thermal to biological to mechanical, and we explored the impact of improper waste disposal on our environment. And it is my hope and belief that what we've learned today, we find ways to not just put them into use, but also inform others. We need to be ambassadors and start to inform of dangers of indiscriminate dumping of waste and improper disposal of waste. Through that, we'll be able to save not just ourselves, but also our environment. Thank you everyone for listening, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always
Bye.
All right.